We're opening up the gates to everybody at 12, kind of having everybody come in. It's going to be an all-day event. We are actually staying the night there as well, and the trucks will be pulling in at 2 p.m. as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon Lewis, founder of the Tennessee Conservative. Today, Andrew McCartney joins us to talk about the Freedom Truck Convoy that's coming through Tennessee on its way to Washington, D.C. Andrew is an over-the-road trucker with 10 years of experience. Previously, he served in the Air Force for 4 years. Andrew is a Georgia native, now residing in Louisiana. He is passionate about holding our government accountable to uphold the Constitution for our children's future. Andrew, so give us some general details so that people who might want to attend or support your organization can do that. Where do they need to go? All that kind of stuff.
We have the American Truckers Freedom Fund.com is going to be one of them. Freedom Convoy Tennessee will be another. The event coordinators down there have been amazing. Those ladies are awesome putting this together out in Lebanon. It's going to be at the James E. Ward Center in Lebanon, Tennessee. Right now, they are asking 10 a.m. for any volunteers, guys. If anybody's wanting to help in any way, shape, or form, they're definitely needing help on all aspects of that. We're opening the gates up at noon. And as far as the trucks go, we're going to be arriving about 2 p.m. to pull in for you guys. So it's going to be, there's going to be so much going on. Speakers, entertainment, booths, food trucks, all that you can imagine there. They put a lot together in such a short amount of time. It's actually pretty amazing. So,
well, very good. Well, I know, Andrew, we're going to have links wherever you're watching this video on social media, or if it's in an email that we've sent you, just go down below or around the video, and Jason and Paula will make sure that stuff is in there. So a tremendous disruption comes into the life of somebody like you who works for a living. I myself do this. I have another job because we passionately agree with this notion that our nation was founded on freedom and liberty, and we're not really getting what our Constitution says we could. So what is it that's motivating you and your fellow truckers and so many others to sacrifice time and money away from your family to make your voices heard?
Well, right now, guys, it's really everybody knows about the mandates. We're not wanting mandates for driving. We're not we want everybody to have the freedom of choice, right? So we want to make sure if you want the shot, get the shot. It's not a big deal to us. If you want to go out and wear a mask, wear a mask. The biggest thing is we don't want that forced on us. That's one big thing, as everybody has been told. That's not the only thing, though. We have, the Emergency Powers Act that basically gives them total control outside of the Constitution. We want that to stop. That's not what it's meant for. That's not what it's meant to be used for. So that's another point that we're trying to make. And we want everybody to come united together. And right now, that's not what's happening. That's not what we're seeing. And it's not the America that we know. So most of us, I can't say and speak for every trucker out there, obviously. A lot of us are vets. A lot of us have been in the service. We know what's going on as far as how the government works. And it's just not something that we grew up with and have been told how to act with. So it's something we want to change and make better for our children, our children's children, and so on. So it's something we have the ability to do. So we're just going to do it.
Well, very good. Well, I have a few friends that are truckers. My late father's best friend, Igor, who used to come in from the Navy, and he would hang out and stay with us every time he was on leave. Now he is a trucker. My buddy Wade, brothers of one of my good friends, Ashley's. They're very similar, either from the service or from a technical background. Generally speaking, what are truckers feeling and thinking? And compared to other professions, why do you feel truckers are so concerned about our recent loss of liberties in the direction of the country versus other professions?
Well, again, like, as I said, I can speak for myself. I can't necessarily speak for every trucker. As a whole and as a united group, we're pretty much against what's going on. We spend hours in a truck. We see everywhere has just turned. It's gone from a nicer version, right? Everybody was all hospitable to everybody else. Everybody was nicer to everybody. And it's just done a 180. especially in the last 2 years. And we got to see that going cross country, whether it's OTR, whether it's local. It's just people in general have had to change their way of thinking as far as that went. And it's something that really bothered us. Now, as for everything else, we just kind of, we just want to be a part of it. We want to help fix it. And we have the ability to do it because of what we do. The outreach that we have and the fact that we can make a difference. So.
Well, I mean, y'all are always in constant communication with each other. I'd imagine that a lot of the programming that truckers consume is very, very similar. I would think if you polled truck drivers, that you would find that probably about 78% of them voted for President Trump. And the reason I say that is I've worked with professional painting contractors all over the United States of America. I polled our guys. They're not driving a truck, but they're running painting companies. And they're kind of similar groups of people, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. They're 97% men. It's probably a little bit higher in trucking on the women's side.
It's getting a little bit. Yep.
They're a very conservative group overall. And it's because when you work for a living and you have to really get out there and hunt and scratch and work real hard, and then you pay your taxes, you don't get back tax money, you pay in tax money. That's another thing that changes your tune. And it makes a big deal. Talk about some of the examples of what you're seeing as you travel around, because if you do any type of over the road work, you see things that other people don't see. Like everybody vacations 2 or 3 weeks a year. You're focused on vacationing, but when you're all over the nation and you're stopping in and you receive these little thin slices of life in restaurants and hotels and gas stations and businesses, you can kind of take in the whole nation a lot quicker and have more ideas of how different people feel in different areas of the country than your typical person can. Talk to that a little bit.
Well, we definitely see, and it's a bigger picture, right? Even in I'm like you were saying, I'm a Georgia resident, and a lot of people don't leave their towns. They may, like you said, vacation 2 or 3 weeks, go down to Florida, go to St. Louis, see the Arch, go to stuff like that, but they're vacationing, so they're not going to see the actual political version of what's going on in each place. They're going to say, okay, I'm touring here, I'm going home. So they don't see every aspect of everybody's life of what's going on. Whereas most of us travel the same routes, we'll travel cross country, and we get to see it over and over again as to, hey, this is what's happening all over. It's not just in these one little town. Say, mom and dad over here have lived here all their life are saying, oh, it's good. When in reality, you space out 10, 15 miles away and it's a totally different story because they don't ever go 10, 15 miles away. So it makes a huge difference. And it's like a goldfish being in a small bowl in a house, right? You take the goldfish, it's not going to grow because he's going to be so used to his environment. He's going to be stuck in that one bubble. Now you put a goldfish in a pond, what's going to happen? He's going to grow and grow and grow. And, it's what turns into a much bigger fish, koi fish and such as that. So your mindset on how you're going to look into each environment and each event is going to grow the more experience and the more different views of different people that you can gain. Say, hey, it's not an argument, right? It's debating. It's showing, hey, we can agree that you have this idea, I have this idea. It doesn't have to be, oh, you're wrong or I'm right. It can be a debate. People have forgotten that. And that's something that I think is a big issue, is just communication overall, for sure.
Well, speaking of communication, I'll ask this last question and then let you repeat the event details once more. Are you prepared for how the media, the mainstream media in Tennessee is going to portray your event as you roll through? And as you roll through throughout the nation, they're corporately owned by left-leaning groups that primarily want to completely control whatever their employees do and where they go and what they think, and to indoctrinate them. And so, your message, while it will be loud and clearly heard through the example for about half of the nation, the other half is going to hear a completely different story. And even the half that does hear your story is going to hear it through this filtered corporate left-leaning lens. And so for all those reasons, and you saw how they were portrayed in Canada and how quickly the authoritarian regime changed on them up there. What do you think? Are y'all prepared for that, or do you know what to expect?
Well, on that aspect of things, I think we are. and the simple aspect, we're not just talking. We want nothing but a peaceful protest. We want nothing to do with anybody who, we have a code of conduct that everybody signs up for, that you can find on our truckerfreedom.com page. We have all of these rules that we are policing ourselves on, and we are not allowing anybody else into that who threatens that aspect, because we don't want the violence. We don't want anything like that that's going to affect what we're actually trying to do, the overall mission, to try and get them just to listen to the people, right? So what we've done and put into place is we're working with what, just for an example, for the southeastern corridors that I'm running, we have not only told everybody this is what we're doing. We want, you know, American flags. We want state flags. Obviously, we cannot tell people what to fly. I would never do that. I would never infringe on that. But this is not a political event. And I want to make that clear to everybody. I want American flags. I want state flags. I want a flag that is going to show we are in unity together, and not something that anyone can portray us as a political agenda, such as Trump flags. I have Trump flags. They're not being flown. I am actually having every state I'm going to, I have all of our rallies. They're giving me a state flag so that I can have my American flag and I can have all my state flags behind me. That way we're unified, and we're not a political agenda, because that's not what we're after. We're after a unified country. And on top of that, we're working with every state, local, and sheriff's office, you know, all the counties, all the local cities, all the states, as far as getting us through everywhere. We're working on them on routes. We're working on them on safety. We have them posted up in different areas all along the way. So just so we can all work together and show, hey, we're not trying to hide anything from you. We're not trying to cause a scene. We're not trying to come into your city and blast it and blast through it. We're not trying to do that. We're not trying to cause any disruption. We want to work with you, like Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi. I have worked with all of them just today, talking with all of their troopers and their sheriffs about, hey, we're going this route. What's a route best that you guys know that we can take, so that we can work together to get through, so that you guys know we're not trying to block anything off. We're trying to show you and use actions versus words to show this is our agenda. We want a peaceful protest. We don't want any kind of trouble in that aspect of things. So,
well, I think that if anybody in the world could show up to protest, I would much rather have people that drive, you know, tens of thousands of pounds on the highway, that are constantly safety regulated, who are worried about everyone else at every place. Every four-wheeler that's out there on the road, you have safety on the brain 24/7, as opposed to many other protests that are led by other people that maybe aren't quite as safe or end quite as well. And those ran for month on end, and nothing was ever said about those, amazingly. So once more, what are the event details in Nashville? Not Nashville, it's in Lebanon, near the Nashville area. And how can people help with that? Just give the date and the location once more. Of course, we're going to post details and links in the comments section, or articles or emails, or wherever you see this.
I-40 East into Nashville. We're going to go around 840 loop over to Lebanon. We're going to go to the James E. Ward Center. They are opening up 10 a.m. to volunteers. Anybody who can volunteer or wants to help, go to the Freedom Convoy Tennessee Facebook page. We have our awesome event organizers. Those ladies have busted tail to make this happen, guys. So definitely they need the help. That is where everybody is needed. If you're wanting to help, is at the Ward Center at 10 a.m. We're opening up the gates to everybody at 12, kind of having everybody come in. It's going to be an all-day event. We are actually staying the night there as well, and the trucks will be pulling in at 2 p.m. as well.
Very good. Awesome. Guys, look in the comment section here. I appreciate you very much, Andrew, for coming on here. Is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with before I let you go?
Well, guys, I want to leave everybody with a sense of unity. That's the message overall. We're all trying for these mandates. Mainstream's going to push that that's the only reason we're there, which is that's not. That is not what we're there for. We are there to ensure this doesn't happen again. And we want to make sure there's only one way to do that. And that's for everybody to come together and say, hey, we've done this, not only for 2 years with COVID, but for decades before that, where they're slowly slipping that away. And that's something we want to change. And the only way that this is ever going to work is everybody staying unified, everybody staying together and saying, hey, we have blue collar workers, we have healthcare workers, we have Trump supporters, we have Biden supporters, we have people who are vaccinated, we have people who are unvaccinated, we have people across the board involved in this because they are tired of what is going on in this country and they want to see it stop. And with that kind of unified group of people, there's no way to stop that. We just have to stay unified.
Very good, Andrew. Well, I appreciate it. Bust them gates, doing 98, let them truckers roll, 10-4. If you want more stories and interviews like this, please do go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Follow us on our social media channels. You can subscribe to our podcast wherever you get them by searching Tennessee Conservative News. Until next time, I'm Brandon Lewis, signing off.